What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. This is episode number 57. We're starting today's stuff on the back of our loss to Real Betis in the second leg of our Europa League quarter-final. Of course, after our big win in Spain, we did make it through to the Europa League Semi Finals despite that narrow defeat there. Where of course, as we know, we'll be taking on the outright favourites to win the competition, Xavi's FC Barcelona. Yeah, I mean, we knocked out Napoli, we've knocked out Real Betis, but I think it's safe to say we're major underdogs for that tie there. Anyway, before we get there, 3 big games of the Premier League, where today we actually had the potential chance to win the Premier League title if results went our way. Now, heading into today's episode, as you would have seen in the league table, there are 11 points of Manchester United in second, and we've got the game in hand as well. If we were to win all 3 of these fixtures that you'll see today against Crystal Palace, Brentford, and also Leeds as well, then we would be Premier League champions if Manchester United failed to pick up at least 2 wins in their 3 fixtures. So heading into the first game of today's episode, I thought, oh my god, it's actually going to happen. It's actually going to happen, so long as we don't absolutely bottle it in the final few games. Starting off, Roy Hodgson's Crystal Palace away at Selhurst Park, and what a fantastic start to the game. Kefren Turan, who has been amazing for me in recent weeks. That's his 9th goal of the season to make it 1-0, and we have the early advantage. And we made it 2 not long afterwards. 9 minutes to go before the break, rolled the ball across to the middle, and Romelu Lukaku bags another one. I mean, yeah, Kefren's been superb in recent weeks, but Romelu Lukaku, top scorer, going for back-to-back golden boots, makes it 2. And again, I was thinking, oh my god, I could actually do it before that Barcelona tie, but I've got to keep my composure. Following that goal, Palace looking to get back in the game here. Pickford makes a great save right before the break to keep it at 2-0. And keep our clean sheet intact as well, as he goes for back-to-back golden gloves. And with 16 minutes on the clock, well, this right here is just absolutely amazing goalkeeping. Initially, I thought I cleared the ball off the line, but no, it was Pickford getting a touch on the ball, coming back to his line after being dinked and turning it behind for a corner to keep the clean sheet and also ensure we would hold on to the 2-0 scoreline. Pickford, man, I want to say real briefly, 12 clean sheets in 32 now, 2 ahead of Edison as he goes for back-to-back golden gloves. As you can see, we're now 10 points clear of Manchester United, but do have the game in hand. Like, Jordan Pickford, man, like, seriously, he this season, and I think in particular last season as well, has kind of showed you the importance of having a really, really good goalkeeper. And I think sometimes in FIFA, like if you're playing offline and you're playing against the AI, sometimes you might think that if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, which we currently are on Ultimate, that having a really good goalkeeper might not make that much of a difference because, I mean, if the AI's finishing is supposed to be as superior as it possibly can be, or to the max EA will want it to be, then 9 times out of 10 they'll probably finish a chance. But the goalkeeper's higher rated enough and he's in good form, then he's going to bail you out. Not, I would say, you know, more times than not, but quite consistently he'll come up with a big save or a big performance in a big game when you really need him on your toes and you've been breached a few times. Pickford, to me, like, is epitomised why, if you don't have a really, really good goalkeeper, you're going to struggle to win things. Like, if you don't have, like, a really, really top goalkeeper in your team in FIFA, you're going to struggle to succeed because you will get breached. You know, it's the AI on Ultimate. You will get breached every now and then. They will find a way to get inside because, you know, they're supposed to do that, right? But if you have a goalkeeper that can bail you out, it really can be a massive difference. And sometimes the difference between winning and losing. It certainly was in that game there. So following game, back at Goodison, Brentford here at home again. Currently still clear of the Red Devils and still having that game in hand as well, as we aim to stay top of the table. Once again, if we were to win the remaining 2 games now, then we could potentially be champions if Manchester United failed to match our results. So heading into the game, wanting to make sure we could possibly get it done before that Barcelona tie, taking on Thomas Frank's Bees. Fantastic start, taking the early lead. I don't know how on earth I wasn't leading by more though. Strakosha made a couple of really good saves. It was still 1-0. I missed a couple of golden chances. The nerves were starting to get to me at this point because I was leading. I was playing really well, but when I talk about this all the time, when you're only leading by a goal, you should never feel comfortable because all it takes is one chance for the AI, and I just mentioned it there. Yes, consistently sometimes your goalkeeper will bail you out, but he can't do it all the time. He's not superhuman. Pickford is still a human being. He's not a dinosaur. But anyway, T-Rex joke for those who don't get that reference. But anyway, unfortunately, exactly right on cue there, that's what happened. I dominated Brentford practically the entire game, but Castrovilli dinks the ball over him into the back of the net. This time caught in no man's land and couldn't get back on time. In fact, didn't even try to, just got lobbed and couldn't get anywhere near the ball. And in the end, Brentford snatched a point at the death to make it 1-1. That is so frustrating. A big point blown there. And yes, whilst it does extend our lead back to 11, it was our game in hand. So 5 games to go, and it would mean if we win the following game, and again the teams below us fail to match our result, we would be Premier League champions. I had the chance to do it here against Leeds United in our 3rd and final game today. What really frustrated me though was you would have seen the pre-match interview, and I'll talk about this as well in a moment's time, but you would have seen that the pre-match interview, the question I was asked was, one more win will see you qualify for the Champions League. No! One more win will see us be Premier League champions. It happens so often you get asked questions that aren't actually relatable to what's currently going on in the season. It's so frustrating. It really breaks the immersion. Instead of a reporter saying, oh my god, what a chance for your boys, five games to go, you only need the 1 win, are you going to get it done at Goodison in front of the fans, their first ever Premier League title? And they asked me, whether I'm, excited to be possibly qualified in the Champions League. No! The Premier League title could be won this Saturday. So heading into the game, absolutely bricking it, because I really wanted it done in front of Goodison faithful, in front of the Goodison Park fans. I wanted it done. I had a terrible start to the game, really feeling the nerves, but 21 minutes in, Super Rom Lukaku gets the opening goal and gives us the lead against the run of play. I'd really stumbled out of the blocks in this game, feeling the pressure, knowing we could potentially be champions if we won and the teams below failed to match our result. And Lukaku says, don't worry about it, Gaffer, I've got us. 22nd goal in 34 games as he gives us the lead. Had a great chance to go 2-0 up as well right before the break. Leeds running possession close to their own area. Kefrin to round trying his luck and firing it just over. But there's no doubt about it, I was definitely feeling the nerves in this game. I wasn't playing my best. It was unlike the game against Brentford where I dominated, but just didn't take my chances. Heading into this game, it was quite an even contest, but a golden chance to double the lead in the second half. Hudson-Odoi crosses, and oh man, if that was the goal, it would have wrapped at the title. It would have been amazing, right? Lukaku's scorpion kicked attempt saved, still 1-0, and then 61 minutes in, yeah, it's safe to say I was feeling the pressure at this point. Varela, great ball across, and Sessegnon had all the time in the world, and the adrenaline got to me there. Took it first time, fired it wide, and it was still 1-0. Would I rue all those missed chances for the second game in a row? Well, the answer was yes. Later on in the game, great ball through towards Ludwig Ajorque, Norwich City icon in my Football Manager save a couple of years ago. Makes it 1-1. Leeds back on level terms. I thought deja vu, just like the Brentford game. As I pushed for a late winner, I couldn't find one. Gallagher denied, and eventually the clock would run out. Final score at Goodison, and again, this kind of broke away from the immersion. The fans are going ballistic. They're loving it because, well, technically the point was enough to see us qualify for the Champions League. But of course it does mean that the wait for the Premier League title continues. Didn't play very well in this game, had a very low XG, didn't play too well, and again, certainly felt the pressure, no doubt about that. So again, the post-match interview, so frustrating, really breaks away from the immersion there. Should be asking me how I feel about failing to win the title, but instead, yeah, it's talking about Champions League qualification. Even so, with 4 games to go, we're 10 points clear. The Red Devils do have the game in hand, but because of the goal difference swing, it really does mean now, if we win just one of our final 4 Premier League games, we'll be champions. A win and a draw will definitely guarantee it. So 4 points required from 12. We know it's almost done. But to be fair, the final 4 fixtures are quite tough. Chelsea away, Spurs, Saints away, and a trip to Old Trafford as well. So actually, to be fair, quite a tough 4 fixtures there. But we do know destiny is still firmly in our own hands despite back-to-back slip-ups there. Because of the goal difference swing, 1 win, realistically, is all we need in our final 4. We'll have the chance to do it in the next episode away at Stamford Bridge. Before we get there, we'll have the first leg of our Europa League Semi Final. FC Barcelona, as we go for our first ever European final in my tenure as Everton manager, and Everton's first since their cup Winners' Cup victory all those decades ago. Thanks for watching today's episode of the Realistic Rumor, guys. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you for the next episode. A chance to be Premier League champions and the Europa League Semi Final, both legs against Barcelona, as we go for a place in the Europa League final very soon.